Welcome back to another explainer. So, the 2026 World Cup group stages are officially underway, and wow, it is already heating up. Today, we're going to cut right through all the noise and give you a highly focused, thematic snapshot of the tournament so far. We've pulled together the biggest headlines, the latest match updates, and some truly standout quotes, and organized the whole shebang right here. Our goal? To give you a crystal clear look at how this massive global tournament is actually unfolding. All right, let's just dive straight in.
Okay, let's dive into this. Before the very first whistle even blew, the atmosphere was already absolutely electric. The opening ceremonies in Toronto and Los Angeles were just spectacular. We had stars dazzling across both of these incredible host cities, setting a really vibrant, magnificent tone for the games ahead. And honestly, when you've got multiple host nations like this, that cultural fusion right out of the gate is always something to behold. It hooks fans worldwide, literally from minute one.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at a marquee matchup, checking out how the North American hosts shine, diving into returns and underdogs, highlighting players to watch, and finally rounding it all out with the global scoreboard.
Section 1. Marquee matchup. USA versus Paraguay.
Picture this. It's 1800 local time, Friday, June 12th, at Los Angeles Stadium. There's this incredibly unique tension that builds, right, as that clock ticks closer and closer to kick off for a group stage opener. The vibe in LA was just electric as both squads took the pitch. They both knew that securing points early on is absolutely vital if you want to survive this tournament.
And out of all that tension, we got some truly incredible individual moments. Take the U.S. team's Balogun, for example. He said, "This is something I dreamed of for a long time." And you can really feel the heavy weight of the moment in those words. But he didn't just dream about it, right? He completely stepped up and shined so brightly under those massive stadium lights.
So, looking at the aftermath, the Stars and Stripes ended up cruising to a victory. They executed their game plan perfectly to lock down those critical opening points. But hey, the emotion was just as raw on the other side of the pitch. We saw completely speechless Gomez reacting to Paraguay's historic return to the World Cup stage. And really, regardless of what the final scoreline says, just being back in this tournament is a monumental achievement. Gomez's reaction perfectly captured the immense pride of his entire nation.
Moving right along to Section 2, North American hosts shine. We're looking at the USA, Canada, and El Tri.
We are seeing such a fascinating contrast in opening fortunes here. While the USA wowed their crowds, Canada actually ended a drought with a dramatic, highly successful comeback against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And wow, they were really saved by Lauren, who came to the absolute rescue. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Bosnia and Herzegovina were left feeling entirely unsatisfied with the draw. It just goes to show how one single point can feel like a massive victory for one side, but a really bitter disappointment for the other.
Now that Canadian comeback, it wasn't just about tactics. It was fueled by pure heart. As Cone perfectly put it, you could see the passion. When you're down and you're playing in front of your home continent, digging deep is literally your only option. It was exactly the kind of raw emotion and relentless drive that you really want to see a host nation tap into.
Adding a really nice layer of personal depth to all this, Devlin has been reflecting recently on how Canada shaped his entire career. Because, the World Cup isn't just about match stats and scorelines. It's the culmination of lifelong journeys. Players like Devlin are out there playing not just for a golden trophy, but to honor the local communities that built them up right from their very first days on the pitch. All right, Section 3, Returns and Underdogs, focusing on historic comebacks.
And this brilliantly illustrates the mix we're seeing this year. We've got the expected tournament giants, like Brazil, joining the party for sure. But sharing that exact same pitch are the highly anticipated returns of Haiti, Scotland, and Paraguay. Visualizing the diverse makeup of the tournament like this really hits home, doesn't it? You've got these perennial favorites competing right alongside nations who have battled for years, sometimes literally decades, just to hear their anthem played at this level again.
Now, speaking of history, a lot has changed since Brazil last met Morocco way back in 1998. But you know what hasn't changed? The sky-high expectations. Today, current leader Marquinhos is vowing to battle that immense pressure in pursuit of the World Cup prize. The ghosts of past tournaments are always kind of hovering, right? And managing that heavy psychological burden is honestly half the battle for these seasoned veterans. On the other hand, for a returning team like Scotland, the pressure is more fueled by eager anticipation.
Their talisman, McTominay, is officially ready to go, and he is really embodying that confident fighting spirit of a side absolutely determined to make their mark. When a nation comes back after a super long absence, they look exactly to standout leaders like him to set the tone and just steady the nerves.
Moving to Section 4, Players to Watch. Let's look at the breakout stars.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that there is just nothing quite like the fearless energy of a rookie. Egyptian breakout star Abdelkarim is reportedly raring to run riot. Seriously, keep a very close eye on him. Players with this kind of explosive anticipation, they can completely upend a group stage dynamic in the blink of an eye.
But, it's not just about the goal-scoring rookies. It's also about presence and tactics. We've got Gervane Castanier's story of Letters That Unite, which points to a deeply inspirational presence off the ball. And then, check this out. We have Montella, who is actively looking to turn the heat down. That is an incredibly powerful tactical asset, being able to control the pace of the game in a tournament that's pretty much characterized by boiling emotions and incredibly high stakes.
Finally, Section 5, Global Scoreboard. Let's move to and see how this builds into a rapid-fire rundown of the remaining match updates.
Looking around the grounds, the action has been absolutely relentless. Eltree have excelled in their early outings, totally meeting the high expectations of their passionate fanbase. The Tagook Warriors showed incredible resilience as they rallied, with the Korea Republic impressively hitting back to secure a big defeat over Czechia. Oh, and a quick note on the data side of things. The superior player of the match is being officially recorded for every single winner now, so individual brilliance is really getting its spotlight right alongside those team points.
So, we've covered the dazzling ceremonies, the dramatic comebacks, the historic returns, and of course, the rising stars. Which leaves me with this final thought for you. With the underdogs rallying so fiercely and the host nations dazzling under the spotlight, who is going to step up to write the next chapter of this profoundly unpredictable 2026 World Cup? The stage is set, the data is flowing in, and honestly, the true story is only just beginning to unfold. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes on the pitch.